They whipped him up the hill just for me. They whipped him up a hill just for me. One day when I was lost, Jesus died upon a cross. They whipped him up a hill just for me. They nailed him to a cross just for me. They nailed him to a cross just for me. One day when I was lost, Jesus died upon the cross. They whipped him up a hill just for me. They laid him in a tomb just for me. They laid him in a tomb just for me. One day when I was lost, Jesus died upon the cross. They whipped him up a hill just for me. The angel rolled the stone away just for me. The angel rolled the stone away just for me. One day when I was lost, Jesus died upon the cross. They whipped him up a hill just for me. This is my favorite part right here. He's coming back from heaven just for me. He's coming back from heaven just for me. One day when I was lost, Jesus died upon the cross. They whipped him up a hill just for me. I'm glad today that I know without a shadow of a doubt that he took every step just for me. He took every slow step up Calvary and laid right down there. I don't think for a second that they had to hold him down. I think he said, "Boys, I've got this. Let me go down and do what my Father sent me to do." I'm glad I get sometimes I think about people saying that they have hope that where they may go. The hope that they're going to heaven. I think it's awful funny to me, Brother Jason, that the greatest thing that's ever happened to them in their life, there's hope. Now you're telling me something when Jesus finds you. And He picks you up out of the mire and the clay. And He begins to establish your goings and your comings. And you don't have a clue about what happened. The greatest thing that ever happened to you in your life. There's something wrong with that, brother. I knew exactly when I was sitting beside the road that there was a man passing by my way. And I was just like that little blind boy that was sitting beside and said, "Jesus, Son of David, have mercy on me." I was just like him, brother. I never will forget the first time that I got summoned into court. I went up to the counter there. I didn't know what it was, but there was a man that was sitting in the back. I was the only one there. And there was a prosecutor there. And I stood in front of the judge. And he said, "Son, what have you done in your life?" I said, "I've done this. I ain't been in much trouble. I've been a pretty good boy." But that prosecutor stood up with something in his hand. hand. He said, but the blood has not been applied. And I got myself up. He said, son, I might come back your way and I might not. But guess what, brother? There was a man in the back of that courthouse. There was a man with a had nail scars in his hand. He said, guess what, son? Guess what? I'm willing to take your place. I'm willing to do what you couldn't do. I got a pretty good record with the judge up there. If you'll just let me come in and take my abode in your house. And it's been so good to me ever since that day. Like I said, he picked me up when I didn't have no way else. He made all the mountains flat and the valleys filled. He made all the rough places smooth.
Yes, sir.
It feels so good today.
Yeah, buddy.
To know where if something happens to me, I know exactly where I'm going. That I don't have to worry if I don't make it. I've got hope that I'll make it home. But I know where I'll go if I don't.
Yes, sir. Yeah, buddy. And that's all right.
I began to think about a man in the Bible by the name of Simeon. And the Bible says that he was a just man. And that Jesus had just been born. And God told him he wouldn't let his eyes close until the time had come that he would send him a salvation. Send him somebody coming, Brother Nathan. And the Bible says that this little baby Jesus, Mary and Joseph had been through the rituals of the time. And the Bible says that Simeon, the Spirit came over Simeon and that he went on down to where they was at. And could you imagine this little baby, the whole hope of the world, sitting right there in Mommy's hands. And that the way we might have a chance to go back and spend a little time in heaven. I'm going to tell you today that if you're undecided and don't know, you better get ready to live after you die. Because there is a deadline coming, brothers and sisters. And the Bible says that Simeon picked this little baby up. Oh, brothers, and what did he say? He said, mine eyes have seen thy salvation. What else did he say? He said, a light unto the Gentiles and glory to thy people Israel. I remember about a little short man here in the Bible. I can tell you right now, if you're looking for something, that there is a man that's going to pass by your way. It might not be this evening. It might be tomorrow. It might be the next day. But I promise you that there's a man that is coming out, that is passing by your way. And he's going to convict your heart. And you're going to be hung in the balance. And you're going to come up lacking. But brothers, they say this little short man by the name of Zacchaeus, he took his way and climbed up a little sycamore tree. Bibles, I believe that he was going up there, and I think he was going to try to hide. Because whenever you get so down, you get halfway like you're trying to hide from the world. But he knew that Jesus was coming by this way. And then he climbed up that little tree. And Jesus saw him there. As he walked up to him and looked up, he said, Zacchaeus, make haste and come down, for today I'll abide in your house. He thought that he was talking about this worldly house. He didn't know that in this little while that he would never be the same man. That something was going to be different about this man. But just like if you come this evening, the world began to talk about him and said, this man is a sinner. How could he be around him? Well, brothers, I'm telling you today, if Jesus come back and walk the earth one more time, he would be with every sinner he could get a hold of. He'd be with the wild man that nobody else was. That's where he'd be at, brethren. But he began to talk to Zacchaeus, and Zacchaeus told him, said, I'm going to return all things to these men and fourfold. And he told Zacchaeus that salvation is come unto thy house. And brothers and sisters, I'm going to leave you with this. Where is your salvation at? Has salvation come to your house? Has your heart's door been knocked on by the Master? I've heard people say, well, how do I know that He's come, that it's His voice? There's no, you'll know. That's the only way I can tell you. I've heard people say, how would you know? You'll know.
Yes, you will. Buddy.
I ask you today, have you been down to the banquet house?
No.
If something happens to you, I don't know anybody's hearts here tonight, but if something happened to you, where would you spend eternity at? Because it's great and as good as what heaven is, there's a place that wasn't even made for you, wasn't prepared for you. How awful would it be to look up and see all your family members? I believe they can see us having the time of their lives, and then they'll not even know you anymore. How awful would that be? But if you're looking for something today, you say, I may not be able to live like you. Well, God's grace is sufficient. God's grace is sufficient and big enough to keep you. Once God comes in and does it, it's done. I want you to know that I love you. I love each and every one of you.